In a faraway land, near the banks of a quiet river, there was a small poor village called Nurabad. The houses were made of mud and straw. The roads were dusty, and at night the village was dark because there was no electricity. People worked very hard, but they earned very little. Most villagers were farmers. They grew wheat and vegetables, but the soil was dry and water was scarce. Children walked miles to a broken school building with no books. Even though life was difficult, the people of Nurabad had kind hearts and strong hope. One day, a young girl named Amina stood near the old banyan tree and said, "Why can't our village become beautiful and rich like the cities?" The elders smiled sadly. "We are too small and too poor," they said. But Amina believed that change was possible. The beginning of change. Amina had studied in the city for a few years before her father fell sick. She learned about modern farming, clean energy, and small businesses. She decided to teach the villagers what she knew. First, she gathered the farmers and introduced new farming methods. They learned how to save water using simple drip irrigation. They planted fruit orchards instead of only wheat. Slowly, crops started growing healthier and bigger. Then Amina contacted a charity organization from the nearby city. With their help, solar panels were installed in the village. For the first time, Nurabad had electricity. At night, lights shone like tiny stars across the village. Children could study after sunset. Women started small home businesses like embroidery and handicrafts. The products were sold in the city markets. Unity brings prosperity. The villagers worked together. They cleaned the streets and planted trees along the roads. They built a proper school and a small health center. Amina also helped create a small tourism idea. They decorated the riverbank and built beautiful wooden huts for visitors who wanted to experience village life. Tourists began to visit. They loved the fresh air, organic fruits, and peaceful environment. Slowly, money started flowing into Nurabad. Mud houses were replaced with strong brick homes. Roads were paved. A big marketplace was built in the center of the village. The once dusty streets now had gardens, fountains, and bright lights. From poor to luxurious. Years passed, and Nurabad became known as the model village. It was no longer poor. It had luxury guest houses, clean parks, modern schools, and even internet access. The people were not only rich in money but also in education and unity. One evening, Amina stood again under the banyan tree. The same elders who once doubted her now said proudly, "You are right. A small village can become great if its people believe and work together." Nurabad had transformed from a poor, forgotten village into a place of beauty and prosperity. And its greatest luxury was not gold or buildings. It was hope, hard work, and unity. Like and subscribe, or the ghost will come for you.